What if I told you there was a lens for your Fuji X camera that will cost you only $150 US, small, super lightweight, has autofocus and decent image quality, and you can even pick up this cool little lens hood for it? All sounds pretty good, right? There must be some kind of catch. Well, for a lens at this price point, obviously there is some downsides to this lens, but it is one that I have really enjoyed using and have been able to get some really great results. What's cracking, my photography friends? Hope you're all doing really well. Yes, this is a lens from TTartisan, and it is a lens I have been shooting around London with for a good 2 weeks. Quick disclaimer, I was sent this lens to check out. I will give you my full thoughts on the lens, but ultimately I will give you plenty of examples so the photos can do the talking, and ultimately you can decide for yourself whether this lens is right for you. Alright, so this is a 27mm f2.8 lens for Fuji X Mount. It is now also available in other mounts as well. As mentioned, super small, super lightweight. In full frame terms, it is basically your 40mm pancake lens. So with its tiny size, I guess we can call it a pancake as well. Pancakes. So as mentioned, this delicious pancake will only set you back $150 US, which is really cheap for an autofocus lens such as this. And especially when we think about secondhand actual Fuji lens prices at the moment, this is going to be a really great option for a lot of people. It comes in 2 different color options, the black, which I have to match my X Pro 3, and also a titanium version. Plus you can even pick up this cool little lens hood for a little bit extra, which I really like as well. A couple of neat features include the rear lens hood, which you can also use to update the lens. It also has an aperture ring. I would say this can be slightly fiddly to use because it is quite thin, but again, because the lens is so small, naturally they probably couldn't make this much wider, and it is a great feature for such a cheap lens. Looking at the overall versatility, as far as prime lenses goes, this is a really versatile focal length. It is wide enough that you can fit in an overall scene, but not too wide that you can't really focus in on detail in your subject as well. I typically use 50mm a lot, especially for street photography, but occasionally you do want that slightly wider angle just to fit in a little bit more of the scene. So 40mm for me is a really nice sweet spot. I really do enjoy just walking around a city shooting street style images with a single prime lens. So this is really perfect for that. I really think using a single prime lens in this way is a great way to train your eye and really practice your overall composition. Even better, at this size and weight, this is the ideal lens just to carry around with you all day in this fashion. As an f2.8 lens, this is also a nice sweet spot to be able to shoot around in different lighting conditions, but also keeps it nice and small and lightweight. Weighing under 100 grams means you're barely even going to notice it on your camera, and like I said, perfectly sized to carry around all day and document day-to-day life. Being such a small lens, it is quite flat as well, makes it easy to slide into a loose pocket depending on which camera you're using it on, and also to slide into your smaller bags as well. Also to note, unfortunately at this price point, it obviously isn't weather sealed, but for me, neither are my other Fuji lenses. In terms of overall image quality, when I'm testing lenses, I don't like to go super in-depth testing them. Ultimately, I like to go out and use the lens in conditions that I would usually be taking photos, see how it performs, and ultimately, can I get the results that I want from the lens? I will be totally honest here, at $150 US, I wasn't expecting a lot out of this lens in terms of the overall image quality, but for me, I was really happy with the results that I was able to achieve. At this price point, obviously there is a few downsides when we look at the image quality, which I'll go into. Perhaps the most obvious thing I found right away was the vignetting that occurred at f2.8 without using any lens corrections, which seemed to reduce quite a lot even from f4. On slightly closer inspection of the images in post, I'd say the overall sharpness is decent, but again, this improves a lot from around f4. This wasn't too surprising to me, but if you are a little bit picky when it comes to image quality, you're probably going to want to use this lens from about f4 onwards. It was still usable at f2.8, but the image quality does start to fall away. Even before properly reviewing the images a bit more closely, I naturally found myself using this lens closer to f4 anyway, only very occasionally opening it up to f2.8 when I really felt it necessary or wanted to create a little bit shallower depth, which for how I was using this lens was perfectly fine anyway. I didn't really feel the need to open it up to f2.8 that often, and it's still a really interesting lens and one that I've already got a lot of use out of. In terms of the autofocus, again, it performed reasonably well for me. I would say on closer inspection, when using this lens again at f2.8, a few photos did actually miss focus slightly. However, again, not frequently using it at this wider aperture, from f4 or so, it largely did hit the mark. As a small, lightweight, budget-friendly autofocus lens, it really does tick a lot of boxes, and I think it's one a lot of people are going to want to check out. So in summary, if you are after a small, lightweight, versatile prime lens for your Fuji X camera, this is a really great option if you want to save a bit of money. For me, despite a few downsides, I have really got a lot of use out of this lens already. I really enjoyed using it around London, and I'm sure I will get lots of use out of it in the future. All right, thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. Keep on creating and keep on growing, my friends. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.